A few years back, I was scrolling YouTube and saw that YouTube dynamically loads data as we scroll. So how does this work? Is it some sort of witchcraft? Of course not. YouTube cleverly uses a API called intersection observer to observe if we have already run out of entries, then it triggers a function which will load more content and display it to us. So how does this work? We put an empty div at the end of our list. We observe that div if it enters our screen, and if it does, we'll call a function load more to load more content and display it to the users. So let's get into the code. So as you can see, we have a basic setup here with a normal state having 10 items, and we are mapping those items as an element. So this is our rendered array 1 to 10. So now we have to add an infinite scrolling. So as we just have discussed, we have to put an empty div at the end like that. Now we have to get the reference of that div. So we'll just call div ref, say use ref html div element and passes null here. Okay, now we have to pass that reference here. Now, as you already know, if we are doing some JavaScript logic, it's better to do in the use effect. Otherwise, it may run like multiple times, and we may not have a time to clean that up. So let's create a use effect, pass in the dependency array, which is absolutely null in this case. Now we have to check if the reference itself is none, like not set. So if div_ref.current, we have to put the word sign here, and if it's not exist, so we will just return that. Now let's do a cleanup function because we are going to need it, and the same logic needs to be there as well. Now we create an observer, a new intersection observer. This observer itself take a callback function with entries, like the entries which it is observing. So now we'll check if any of these entries, for our case the entries are only one entry because we are only going to observe this element, not many elements. For your case it might be many elements that you are observing, so you might need different kind of logic. For our use case this will work just fine. So we'll just check entries 0th element is intersecting. If it is not, then we'll just return. If it does, then we call an arbitrary function load more. It is not defined, we'll define it later. So now we have to call observer.observe on what? div_ref.current. You guessed it right. So now we'll just pass in div_ref. Oh no, we have to unobserve that. So observer.unobserve div_ref.current. So see, we created a intersection observer, pass in the callback. The callback takes entries. This will be passed by intersection observer itself. Now when the entry is intersecting the first entry, our case which is div, we'll just call the load more function, which is we have yet to define. Now we have to define this load more function. Yeah, let's do it. So function load more. Now we can say set items. This will take in previous items and just store it in the array. Now we have to create a new array of 10 more elements. Then we fill this array with zeros, then map this array because the item is only 0, so we'll just ignore this. We'll take the index and it should be like previous dot length plus I plus 1, because I is going to be the 0 indexed. So this is going to add a 0 for the first case, and we're going to take previous length, which should be 10 in this case. 10 plus 0 is 10 plus 1 is 11. So this will give us entries from 11 to 20 and so on. Right? Let's try it. Maybe we did everything right. We got to check. So we just refresh and scroll. See, the infinite scrolling is working. So this is quite easy. Like it's not that complicated at all. In next videos, I will cover what are the best ways to make API calls and paginated APIs in modern React world. So thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in next video.